Siblings Lizzie and RJ Hale formed Halestorm in the late 90s with the former on lead vocals and guitar, later rhythm guitar, and the latter on drums. They released 2 EPs before lead guitarist Joe Hottinger joined in 2003, followed by Josh Smith on bass in 2004. Their self-titled debut album was released in 2009, which is when I discovered the band. I typically don't discover bands that early on. It's usually years or decades after they started, so it's pretty exciting when it does happen. I happened to come across the music videos for It's Not You and I Get Off on YouTube and was hooked. I loved that first record and have eagerly anticipated every release since. Halestorm has released 5 studio albums, and I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my favorite. Pretty simple. But before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe, and you can support the channel on Patreon. Number 5, Back from the Dead. Released in 2022, this was produced by Nick Raskulinecz and Scott Stevens. It's an album that was largely inspired by the pandemic and the isolation. It's an album about mental health and crawling out of darkness. My immediate problem with it is the production. It's a big album. There's clearly an effort to just be loud and epic and powerful. Some songs feel like they just have layers upon layers of guitars. It's a little much, at least for me. I often felt some of the nuance was missing, particularly in the guitar playing. Halestorm has a very tight rhythm section, and I felt like that got lost in a sea of noise. It also made a lot of the songs feel kind of the same to me. At a certain point, it just feels repetitive, like they have one trick, just be loud. And then there's the lyrics, which Halestorm has always had an element of cheese in their lyrics, and I'm a Kiss fan. I'm not averse to that. But with this album leaning more into metal and something that's a little bigger and more intense, the lyrics feel kind of at odds. They're your typical Halestorm lyrics, and there's a disconnect there on songs like The Steeple, I think. But there's still material I like. I love the title track and My Redemption, and I saw the band live shortly after the release, and that warmed me up to a couple of the tracks. I don't think the album is bad by any means, but I was disappointed. Number 4, Into the Wildlife. Released in 2015, this was produced by Jay Joyce, who I don't believe had produced any hard rock or metal acts before this, and you can sort of tell the album has a really interesting production. Not necessarily bad, just maybe not what you would expect from Halestorm. There's a lot on this album I really like. Apocalyptic is one of my favorite tracks from the band. There's tons of super fun stuff throughout, and Lizzie Hale's vocal delivery is on point here. It ranks a little lower because I don't feel it's as cohesive as the albums I ranked above it. Number 3, The Strange Case Of. Released in 2012, this was produced by Howard Benson. The lead single, Love Bites, So Do I, won a Grammy for Best Hard Rock / Metal Performance, the first time a female-led band had won or even been nominated in that category. This is a really strong sophomore effort. It's full of great riffs and the songs are heavy and catchy. It's also a little more dynamic than the debut album, different kinds of songs. Some of the lyrics made me cringe a little bit, but this is good stuff. My personal highlights being Love Bites, Here to Us, and bonus track Private Parts. Number 2, Vicious. Released in 2018, this was produced by Nick Raskulinecz. The lead single, Uncomfortable, was nominated for a Grammy for Best Rock Performance. This is a very aggressive album. It feels like the band had something to prove. Lizzie Hale kills it, and the musicianship is insane. They're so tight, and the album is filled with great riffs. My favorite track is Killing Ourselves to Live, with Black Vultures and Uncomfortable being other highlights. I'm in love with somebody. Number 1, Halestorm. Released in 2009, this was produced by Howard Benson. Maybe it's just nostalgia or the excitement of discovering them, but I think this holds up so well. It's a really great debut album. Musicianship is tight, it's heavy with pop sensibilities, the songs are catchy as heck, and every song works. I can listen to it front to back anytime and have many times. So that's my ranking. Let me know your thoughts on Halestorm. Do you like them? Have you seen them live? I've seen them live twice and they were excellent both times. Terrific live band. What's your ranking? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.